Mr. Williams, have you been able to read and go over the pre-sentence investigation report prepared by our adult probation about you, sir?
Yes, ma'am.
Have you been able to ask your lawyers questions if you've had them?
Yes, ma'am.
Have they explained everything to you in a way that you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
If you have any questions for them throughout this proceeding, feel free to ask them, and your lawyer will let me know if you need anything or we need to stop, okay?
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Hively or Mr. Bowman, who's speaking?
On which issue, Judge, the new trial or the sentencing?
Just the pre-sentence investigation report.
Mr. Hively, he went over the report with us. Yes.
All right, have you gone over the pre-sentence investigation report with your client?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, do you believe that he understands what's contained in the report?
Yes, Your Honor.
And has he asked questions?
He has.
And have you answered them?
Yes.
All right, thank you. Mr. Bowman, do you have a motion that you were speaking to?
Yes, Your Honor, I filed a motion for new trial within 10 days. It's basically what we already argued at trial. There's nothing new to add. I'm still taking the position that allowing the two incidents under 404B was error. The incident of the shooting of I can't think of the lady's name, Christina White on the 21st, and then the attempted robbery of Eric Cutlip on the 24th. It's still our contention that was error to allow that in, that it's not a part of a common scheme or plan, didn't show intent, nothing to do with the incident that we were actually on trial for, and that it was actually just showing character or propensity. I think it wasn't a common scheme, the nature of the offenses, other than the participants, and there was a weapon involved. Other than that, there was nothing in common that would show a common scheme or plan or an MO. And again, it was just offered to show rob people once, and they were guilty of robbing this time, and that was just to show character or propensity. But again, arguments have been raised before, but again, raising them here, motion for new trial.
All right, thank you, Mr. Bowman. Ms. Tuck, are you speaking or Mr. Kamani?
Yes, I'm speaking. Your Honor, I would simply say that we had a McGinnis hearing. It was very detailed. It was lengthy. We put on all of the evidence that we plan to offer as 404B. We named the common scheme or plan, intent, and knowledge purposes which are allowed under 404B, and the state would feel rightfully found them to be permissible under 404B evidence. And that's how the evidence came in at trial, with a proper limiting instruction, not once but twice. So we would ask that the court deny the motion for a new trial.
All right, you're right, Mr. Bowman. All of those arguments were made at trial, I think, at the close of the state's case, and then at the end of the close of the defendant's case. And both of those times, and for all of the same reasons, I'm going to deny your motion for a new trial. You have an objection on the record. Is there anything else we need to take up? Ms. Tuck?
No, Your Honor.
Mr. Bowman, Mr. Huffman?
No.
All right. Mr. Hively, are you and your client ready for sentencing today?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, Ms. Tuck, Mr. Kavaniak, is the state ready for sentencing today?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, what is the state intending to present to the court today?
Your Honor, first the state would intend to present a little bit of argument and request for a sentence, and then 3 victim impact statements.
All right, who will we be hearing from?
We'll be hearing from Jessica Boyce, the mother of the victim, and then the victim's 2 grandmothers, Sandy Cedeno and Jill Martin.
All right, Ms. Tuck, what is the state's recommendation?
Good afternoon, Your Honor. Today, the state stands before you to request that you sentence the defendant, Barack Howard Williams, to life in the penitentiary with mercy, in accordance with the law based upon his being a juvenile, specifically West Virginia Code 611123A. The state makes this request with all the evidence that you heard at the trial in mind, including the 404B evidence indicating that the defendant and Brajon Williams Hampton were on a violent spree, looking to inflict violence to obtain property and for the simple sake of committing violence. That evidence included testimony that the defendant shot a woman by the name of Christina White in the face and attempted to shoot Eric Cullop to steal his car. The state further requests that the court recall the fact that the defendant saw Brajon Williams Hampton pointing a gun at the victim, Caden Deshaun Martin, and while acting as a lookout, decided to reach in the store and steal SpongeBob popsicles during the last moments of Mr. Martin's life. After the murder, the defendant went home and ate that ice cream, exhibiting extreme callousness and no care or value for human life, including the life of Caden Martin, who lay dead on the vape shop floor. Mr. Williams further exhibited that same callousness in the statements that he made to correctional officers and bailiffs during his trial, including, Caden, the victim, is a bitch ass N-word, including, do you like Grand Theft Auto 5? I play that shit in real life, including, do you like SpongeBob ice cream? I know where you can get some, the Go-Mart in Dunbar. And after the verdict said, I ought to smack the smile off that N-word's face, referring to the victim's father. Further, the defendant stated, when I get out of here, I'm going to piss on that N-word, referring to the victim's grave. I'm going to fill it full of piss and spit on that motherfucker. Further, despite the fact that Caden Martin's family will be deprived of their loved one forever, that Caden Martin will never experience the milestones in life that he deserved to enjoy, the defendant did not utter any apology or exhibit remorse at any point during this case or during the preparation of his pre-sentence investigation report. Your Honor, I also want to add that I think it is a manifest injustice that the defendant will be eligible for parole due to the statute after the behavior he has exhibited. If I could ask you to sentence the defendant to life without parole, I would, but I understand that this is out of the court's hands. Thank you.
Who are we hearing? Well, all right. Mr. Hively, do you wish to speak, sir?
Did you want the victim impact statements first?
If you want to present them now, you sat down, so I wasn't sure.
Yes, I apologize.
Okay.
We would hear first from Jessica Boyce, the victim's mother.
All right.
Where would you like her to be?
Wherever you feel comfortable, Ms. Boyce, is where you can be. She can sit up there, she can stand, she can do whatever she wants to do.
Do you want to turn it around?
Yeah.
Just move it how you want.
Although, Ms. Boyce, you have to address me.
Yes, I am. Sorry.
Just why don't you come back here a little bit?
She's fine.
Okay.
Go ahead.
I stand before you today just as I did before, broken, angry, and forever shattered by the loss of my son. It's been 617 days since I last saw him. Caden Deshaun Martin, forever 19. On January 30th, 2024, the defendant and his partner in crime murdered my son. Caden was my second born, my pride, my life, my purpose. That child just captivated my soul. He was full of life, love, and ambition. He had a smile that could light up the entire room, and those beautiful curls everyone remembers. He dreamed of working in finance, helping people, taking care of his family, and building a good, honest life. Because of the actions of the person sitting before you, those dreams were stolen. My son's life was taken in a senseless act of violence, planned, deliberate, and heartless. Caden was ambushed, robbed, and shot to death. Caden will never get the chance to grow into the man he was meant to be. He won't get to graduate college, have a career, get married, or have children. He won't get to come home for family dinners or sit around laughing with his siblings. We, his parents, will never see him fulfill the potential we knew he had. His siblings will never have him by their side in life. For us, the punishment is lifelong. And for what? Ice cream bars. A plan created by a 15-year-old who wanted to be in control. The instigator, the ringleader, the lookout. He orchestrated this tragedy and stood by as my child's life was taken from him. Throughout this process, every court date, every motion, every moment of this nightmare, this defendant has shown nothing but arrogance and disrespect. He smirked, he laughed, he looked back at his family and said, "I love you," while we sat there shattered, staring at an empty space where Caden should be. We don't get to tell Caden we love him. We don't get to hug him. We don't get another day, another birthday, another I love you. His callousness did not stop in the courtroom. We heard how he bragged about Caden's death, how he talked about wanting to tear up my son's grave and piss on it. Imagine a mother hearing that someone not only took your child's life, but laughed about desecrating his final resting place. Because of that, I now have a trail camera set up at Caden's grave, something no parent should have to do just to make sure my son can rest in peace and he is not disturbed again. To the defendant, you weren't just there, you weren't just a bystander. You thought you were tough, being tough, but let me tell you right now, you are nothing but a punk. You are weak. You will never be as good as Caden's was, not in this lifetime, not at ever. At the age of 19, my son had already become more man than you will ever be. So when you sit here and try to act tough, remember this: you are nothing compared to Caden. You two took part in stealing a life far greater than yours will ever be. And for that, I ask the court to hold you fully accountable. For us, this is lifelong, our lives forever altered. There's no moving on. Every single day we fill the hole where Caden should be. Every holiday, every birthday, every simple moment around the dinner table, we are incomplete. His dad will never hug his son again. I will never hear his voice calling me Ma Duke. Thomas will never have his little brother by his side. Madison will never again hear her brother's laugh or lean on him for guidance. Thomas lost his brother and best friend. Madison lost the brother who protected her and believed in her. Our home is quiet in ways that are unbearable. There is an emptiness, now a silence that screams every day, a longing that can never be satisfied. We were robbed of watching Caden grow, robbed of his future, robbed of the life we were supposed to live with him. All we can do now is to cling to the memories that we hold on to and hope that one day we will see him again. Until then, we live with the constant ache of his absence. Your Honor, this young man has showed no remorse, only manipulation, arrogance, and pride in what he has done. He thought he could play the system, delay justice, and get away with it. But what he didn't realize is that not only did he destroy one life, he destroyed an entire family. I wake up every morning and face the world that no longer makes sense. I see Caden's pictures, his clothes, his graduation cap, and I remember the boy who should still be here, tall, strong, funny, and full of plans. I relive the moment I found out he was gone every single day. The pain never goes away. It changes you. I'm torn between wanting to be here for my other children and praying to God to take me so I can see him again. It takes a piece of you that you can never get back. No sentence today can bring Caden home. No punishment can undo the hole this person blew through our lives. But I pray that the court sees this for what it is, a deliberate, calculated act that stole a young man's future and destroyed our family forever. Your Honor, I ask that you give a sentence that reflects the true magnitude of this crime, that shows that this man and what he has done to us, what he has taken my son's life. Caden deserved to live. He deserved to chase his dreams. He deserved to grow and become the man he wanted to be. Instead, we are left with a lifelong sentence without him. And lastly, I'd like to give a big F.U. to Bob Aaron for the lack of remorse, empathy, and simple respect. You neglected to show my family while you sat beside us in the courtroom. You fidgeted with your camera, bumped my son, and placed the cameras inches from our faces while we faced the hardest thing in our lives. I begged your news station to take the images of my son with his hands up, down, and you repeatedly blast them on the news. You only caring about getting the shot. I'm glad that getting your ratings are more important than having respect and empathy. There's a special place in hell for you also, sir. Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you.
Next, we would hear from the victim's grandmother, Sandy Cedeno.
Please spell her last name.
C-E-D-E-N-O.
Okay.
Caden Deshaun Martin was born September 13th, 2004, and was senselessly murdered on January 30th, 2024. I received a phone call from my daughter screaming that my grandson, Caden Deshaun Martin, had been murdered when the smoke shop he was working at was robbed. I will never forget her screams or mine. I hear them over and over again every single day. Caden was 19 and working to put himself through college. Caden was so smart, kind, funny, and loving. He had a way of making you laugh when you didn't want to. He loved his family and friends, and he would do anything for anyone. Everyone that met him loved him, and if you would talk to any of his customers at that shop, they would tell you how kind he was. Caden had never been in trouble, went to church, and led his church youth group. He was there for his young cousins to help guide them. He also was there for his brother and sister, for all of us. Caden had the most beautiful green eyes, curly hair, and a smile that would light up a room. Caden was going to make something of himself. Caden touched so many people throughout his life. Barack Williams and his accomplice took our boy away from us for the thrill they thought they would find. They had been on a 9-day crime spree that consisted of robbing and shooting a woman and trying to rob and shoot another man. They both had been in trouble before and didn't learn from those things, so they thought they could get away with this. They were out to really hurt someone, and that ended up being my grandson. They could have just taken their merchandise and laughed, but they wanted to harm him, and they did. This was planned, as were the other incidents. Our lives now have a hole in it, a void we will never be able to fill. We will never get to see Caden smile, hear his voice, or feel his hugs again. Caden will never get to see another sunset, sunrise, hear the rain fall, the thunder boom, feel the wind on his face, have a child or a wife. We have lost our ray of sunshine, our joy. Every morning I wake up, my first thought is of Caden, and the same when I go to bed. I can't concentrate at work. I have no joy in my life. I feel empty inside. All I can do now is live with a constant silent scream inside of me because the emotional pain and grief is too much to handle. Caden's presence was a gift, and his absence leaves a huge hole in our hearts that can never be filled. He was loved beyond words by so many and opened his heart to everyone he encountered. My heart is broken for my family, for the future that Caden will never have, for the family he won't be able to create. This has been devastating to try and accept. It still doesn't feel real, and I don't think it ever will. Caden was everything Barack and his accomplice could never, ever be, which is loved, accepted, vibrant, accomplished, brave, and just so wonderful. And they knew that. They had been in the shop numerous times and spoke with Caden, so they knew what a good person he was, and they couldn't handle it. Caden wasn't offered a plea deal. He wasn't offered a trial, wasn't offered a chance to defend himself. But these two punks are able to get mercy. They didn't show Caden any. Our boy will never get a chance to come home, but they will. Because of Barack Obama, Williams and his accomplice, a beautiful, compassionate person was taken from this world for no reason. They didn't just take his life. They took his light that carried into every room, and they destroyed a family. Not only have I lost a grandson, but I have lost my daughter. She will never be the same. None of us will. They stole my beautiful grandson's life, and they stole the rest of mine. I miss Caden with every beat of my broken heart. Our family will never get closure or justice. I think the words closure and justice are crack. And I say that because I don't know how you can have a loved one taken from you in such a violent manner that these two boys did, for no reason at all, and ever be able to wrap your brain around how and why that happened. I have lost my faith. I have lost myself. My life is all over the place like what I just said to you, okay? It's just every day. I cry every day. I talk to a grave. I clutch a necklace with Caden's ashes in it. I hold a photo to my chest. I hug a bear made from Caden's shirt. This is all I have left of my grandson. Those and memories, and that just isn't right. He should be here. These boys knew what they were doing. He has no remorse. He comes in here laughing and smiling and joking. The things we've heard he said to the deputies about peeing on my grandson's grave and tearing it up, he deserves no mercy. He's going to come out and do the same thing again and again. We don't have a chance. Caden doesn't get a chance in 15 years like they do. I know that you have no say in that. I totally understand. But it's wrong because we have a life without our boy while his family gets to see theirs. Talk to him, call him, visit him. One day hug him. One day sit down at a dinner table with him, watch TV. We never have that. We are all empty and broken. Not only my daughter and Caden's father and Caden's brother and sister, me, my husband, my other children have lost their nephew. My grandchildren have lost their cousin. My sisters, brothers have lost their great nephew. We have nothing anymore. Caden was so wonderful. If you met him, you would know that. He was so funny. I'll never get to hear him look at me when I say something stupid and say, nah, Nana, nah. That's what I hear in my head every single day. I'm at work, and I'm sitting there at the office with the doctor I work for, and he's talking to the patients, and all I see is Caden's face, and I hear his voice. We'll never be the same. This person here, I'm not even sure if I can call him a person. He deserves to rot in hell. And I hope he do. I hope he do. God's got you. God's got you. Thank you, Your Honor. I'm sorry.
That's all right. Thank you, Ms. Is it Cedino?
Sedan, yes.
Sedan. Lastly, we will be hearing from Jill Martin, Caden Martin's other grandmother.
Good afternoon. Take your time. This is your time to talk. No rushing.
My name is Jill Martin. I'm Caden Martin's paternal grandmother. Barack Howard Williams showed no remorse during his trial. He didn't even look at the video of Caden being robbed and murdered. He walked in on days smiling. He was on trial for felony murder and smiled and smirked. Caden was an amazing human being. He did not deserve to be gunned down. It is sickening to think of this teenager stealing ice cream while Caden was scared for his life. Then to go home and eat the ice cream knowing you left someone on the floor to die. He tried to play victim as his defense. No one forced him to do any of his actions that night. At any time during these senseless actions, he could have stopped it. The victims in this case is our beloved Caden, as well as the many people who loved Caden and would have given their lives to save him. Caden gave everything asked of him. So the motive was not the vapes, the money, or the ice cream. They got all of those things. The motive was to kill. The lives of those left behind who loved Caden, have been changed for the rest of their lives. I will never get to see my grandson smile or hug him again. This teenager does not deserve any type of mercy. Caden was shown no mercy that night. Caden was so special and we shed tears every day over his life being taken so soon. He made a positive impact on those around him. He always told me, "I love you, Maine." He was brilliant, ambitious, caring, kind, and loving. He was the light of our family. No sentence on this earth will ever bring enough justice, but the maximum allowed by state law is all we can ask for. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Your Honor, the last remark that I would make is to note that the Victims' Compensation Fund paid $5,940.95 for funeral benefits on behalf of the victim, and we would be asking for restitution paid to the Victims' Compensation Fund.
All right, thank you. Mr. Howard?
Yes, thank you, Your Honor. Your Honor, I'll be brief, and I'll just put on the record for Mr. Williams a conversation we had at Gene Spadero. I told him I believe that human beings are better than the worst thing they've ever done in their life. We all stain and tear the fabric of our life. But through grace, time, and personal effort, you can clean that and mend that. So he has two important dates. October 31st, 2011, he'll be 18 and be brought back before the court. And that
2000 what, I'm sorry?
I think it's 2011, he'll be 18. Sometime after that.
No, not 2011.
2011. You're going back.
2000, I'm sorry, 2027.
All right.
Okay. He'll be 18 and by code, he'll be brought. You know, I'm probably, being honest, that the reconstruction and the reconfiguration of his life to make himself better than what jury's found that he's dead, that probably won't be enough time. But February 1st of 2039, he'll be brought from wherever he's at, and he'll sit down with the parole board, and they'll sit out and look at the criteria for parole, and that's where he'll need to show what he's done to make this, and show his efforts to make this, and show what he's done to improve himself in life. He needs to get his education, his GED. 14 years old when this happened. He'll be almost close to 30. During that time period, he can get as much education as he can. He can read everything they have. I believe a man is what he reads. He can reflect on the time. So sometimes you got to be your freedom taken away. And that he can reflect. He's got a long road to make himself a better person. I think we all have that in our ability to leave this place better than when we came into it. And he'll be a young man. And if he takes his time and through self-improvement, grace, and everything, staying out of trouble, he can turn his life around and make amends for what the jury has found. So I think by law, the statute's already, the penalty's already there. And so he knows what he needs to do, and it's up to him now to decide if he's going to meet that effort that's required to make yourself a better person than you were at 14, or at 18, or at 30. You'll always, every day, be the best version of yourself. Thank you.
Does your client wish to speak, Mr. Howard?
Yes, sir.
You'd like to speak now?
All right. Mr. Williams,
Yes, ma'am.
you may speak.
Well, she can say the mic.
To the morning, I'm so sorry for what happened to your son, and I know there is nothing in my power that I can do to bring him back, but I am with y'all and justice needs to be served. But justice was served the day BJ took that plea deal to the horrible act of murder and robbery. I took no part in that entire heartless act that took place that night. Caden Martin, your son, was tragically killed. The night Caden, and taking away from his family, loved ones, and friends. Yes, I was there unmedicated at the time the heartless act took place. We were supposed to be getting some relos so I could roll up some weed, and we could smoke as a blunt. I never knew any of this was going to happen, or else I would have never came to the smoke shop with him, especially after doing 18 months and being out for only 2. I was cool with Caden. I get saying that probably don't mean nothing to y'all because BJ is family to y'all, but I say this from deep down in my heart. I'm so sorry for what happened to poor, defenseless, young, kind, caring, loving man. No matter what, locked up or free, I will always make sure his story is told. Long live Caden Martin.
Is that it?
And I apologize to his family. Yes, ma'am.
Thank you, sir. You may sit down. Is there anything further, Ms. Duff?
I'm only surprised that the defendant chose to apologize now, but no, Your Honor.
Mr. Hines?
No, Your Honor.
Well, I didn't take that as an apology, actually, Mr. Williams. What I took that for was exactly what that was meant for you to abdicate yourself of responsibility. That was possibly not the worst thing I've ever heard a defendant say, but it was close. You sat there in front of the victim's family after they told you over and over again how much they lost and told them you didn't have responsibility for it. But the jury disagreed and convicted you, which was the right decision. First, I want to acknowledge the family of Caden Martin, Jill, Sandy, and Jessica. You have all shown a tremendous amount of restraint. You were here through the whole trial. That could not have been easy. You all were strong, and you all just sat through what the defendant said. So for that, you are to be respected and appreciated. But Sandy, you are right. There is nothing that I can do that will undo the suffering that you all have endured and will continue to endure for as long as you're alive. There's no sentence that can fix this. There's nothing I can do to bring him back. But I do believe that God is with you, Sandy. You said you lost your faith. I would say the same thing to everyone else. Caden's dad, family, everyone that's here. It means a lot that you're here for him. And this whole case is a testimony to just how senseless and awful gun violence is. This court has carefully considered all of the evidence presented at trial, the pre-sentence report, the defendant's psychological evaluation, and the factors contained in 611113 of West Virginia Code, which addresses the factors the court should consider when sentencing juveniles. First, everyone here has acknowledged this, that 611113 of the West Virginia Code states that a sentence of life without the possibility of parole may not be imposed on a juvenile. Further, upon the age of 18, this defendant has the right to come back before this court to be resentenced. According to Mr. Hively, that's sometime in 2027, correct? Not long from now. At that time, Jessica, Sandy, and Jill, and all of you here will have to go through the same thing over again. For that, I apologize. I don't make the law. But at that time, the court will consider all of this again. The court will consider anything that you have to say, Mr. Williams, when you turn 18. The court will consider any progress or lack of progress that you have made between now and the time that you turn 18, when you come back to be resentenced. But today, I have to impose a sentence for a profoundly terrible and serious crime, the taking of another human life. And from when the evidence is presented at the trial, the taking of a life after Mr. Martin gave you all everything you wanted. A crime for which you, Mr. Williams, although you were young, had the capacity to know was wrong. You knew it was wrong to rob a store. You knew it was wrong for your co-defendant to go in there with a gun. You knew it was wrong to act as a lookout. You knew it was wrong to steal. You knew it was wrong to go back and eat it. You knew it was wrong, the whole thing, the whole time it went on. But you don't have any appreciation for that. You got convicted of it and immediately turned around and said that what you were looking forward to when you were released was desecrating the victim's grave. Those are monstrous words. It's a monstrous mindset. And if you do not take advantage of the rehabilitation that is offered to you, sir, you will have a long life of incarceration, I'm sure of it. Along with those statements, your behavior during trial, the evidence adduced at trial, and what you said here today, Mr. Williams, you make my job easy. I do not have any choice but to impose the maximum that the law allows on you, sir, which is life in the penitentiary of the state of West Virginia without the possibility of parole, with the possibility of parole after 15 years. I truly wish I could give you more. It is the court's job to hold you accountable for the life that you and your co-defendant stole from Caden Martin and his family. It is also the court's job to protect the public from you. And it is the court's job to put you in a place where you can take advantage of the opportunity for rehabilitation. The law recognizes that young offenders have the capacity to change. Mr. Hively talked about that. And I sincerely hope you do, because what you presented today is a depraved, malicious, violent, unremorseful young person. A person from whom the public must be protected. Caden Martin's family will have to endure a lifetime. If you are not resentenced, if you are sentenced to the same thing at the age of 18, when you come up for parole, they will have to go through it again and again and again. The true victims are sitting over there, sir, and it is certainly not you. Is there anything further, Ms. Tuck?
No, Your Honor.
Mr. Hively?
Your Honor, I just asked the court inform Mr. Williams about his right to appeal. We talked about it a couple times and whether he wanted us to continue or if he wanted new counsel. But we discussed that. He's aware of the time period.
I don't think that does the law require me to do something specific?
The different circuits just instruct the appeal the time period to file the notice of appeal.
Well, you've informed him of that?
Yes, yes.
All right. Mr. Williams, you have the right to appeal your conviction. Your attorneys have explained that to you. You could request new lawyers if you want to. If you could do that through your lawyers, that would be fine with me. However you want to transmit that information. Mr. Hively, you can let me know how he wants to proceed. I have nothing further. Thank you all. Court is adjourned.
Thank you, Your Honor.
All right.
I was going to give them all their papers. Okay.
Yeah, I
I'll sit down and order it and I'll get a hold of it.
we're gonna have to come back and arrange. You see that whiteout?